It was a hot summer day as our group boarded the Transcontinental Express. Leaving the bus of the train station and stepping into the calm interior was a relief for my ears. The calm murmuring of excited passengers replaced the sound of trams and cars that ran through the city. なんかヨーロッパの大陸横断列車みたいなの乗ってるってことかな。The polished paneled walls and plush sheets with their ornate pictures gave everything a timeless charm. It was like a museum on rails. A rather luxurious way to travel if you want in a hurry, with not a single stop between the major destination, which were the start and beginning. One could just live their life on pause and enjoy the trip for an entire week. The end destination was at the hill of one of the largest mountain ranges of the world. Outside of taking some special photos, getting to ski, and dining at fancy restaurants, there wasn't much to do. The whole train line operated as a sort of tourist attraction for the wealthy and the privileged, something that people all over the world came to witness. With the train station in our hometown, we've grown up wondering if we will ever get bored. A pipe dream, but somehow the stars aligned and here we are. Like a little moving city, workers boarded the train, ready to provide accommodation for the passengers about to embark on the journey. I had been looking forward to this. Circumstances had led to our class being granted this trip for our summer holiday, but right now the only thing I had to focus on was this silliness. チャンドラみんな獣人なのかな。I think they should invest socks that let you walk in the air. あ、みんなアニマルだ。ケーススナコ、誰がスナコなんだろう。Where did that come from? I mean, elaborates. Yeah, like when you step down, it'll make a cloud for you to stand on. Why? So you could like walk anywhere. It'll be like free stairs. That sounds super great. It does, doesn't it? Fluffy road everywhere you go. Wait, wouldn't you just keep riding up higher and higher if every step created a cloud? Oh, no, I didn't think of that. How will you ever get down? I don't know. 誰が誰なんだろう。Oh no, maybe this is why it hasn't been invented. That is not why. How can you be so sure? It's either that or the fact that everyone could see your panties. I don't want fluffy cloud socks anymore. I let out a sigh which was quickly followed by a yawn. I didn't feel like I had the energy for playing around. You should try using your brain for something better, sis. This is better. I could be the inventor of the next big thing. Karinda. You barely know how to boil an egg. I know how to boil an egg. I've seen her do it. Proud of you, sis. She barely reacted, but her eyes looked happy about that comment. Hey, Sunako? Yeah? スナコはなんとなくこいつの気がする。これとこれが姉妹なんだろうな。眉毛の動作的に。で、こいつはその他その他の人。いや、キースだな。これはキースだな。Wanna come prepare our room? Soon, I already told you before. 消えた。キース walked off without any ceremony or fanfare. やっぱり Well,I don't think your new boyfriend likes me. あれは男だったんだ。名前的に男か。スナコ、He's my boyfriend? Yeah. カリンダがこいつ。I thought you slept with him already. Sunako was frozen briefly. She glanced around and showed nobody was in hearing. hearing range before responding. She was meant to be a secret. 肉体関係にあるんだ。Besides, that doesn't mean that we are dating. You're a promiscuous girl. Don't make it sound like a bad thing. Sunako lowered her gaze, looking at me about the exchange. I still think that boy doesn't like me. Chandra continued with a blank look on her face. He's just a bit too serious. Chandra could be pretty blunt with her questions and comments at times. I didn't really get on well with Case either, but I didn't want Sunako feeling awkward about it, so I kept to myself. I miss your last girlfriend. 前回は女の子の恋人だったんだ。今回はボーイフレンドなんだ。I know. Sunako sighed, giving a sympathetic smile for Chandra. Things had been going so swimmingly till the sudden breakup had been a total train wreck, and now Chandra missed that girl more than Sunako did. Hey sis. Yeah? I hadn't even thought of what to actually say. I was just pulling Chandra aggro off Sunako. I quickly tried to come up with something till I remembered the previous unsolved talk. Did you end up deciding where you still will stay? Oh, I wanted to sleep with Sunako, but Case is there. I promise we can have at least one night for a sleepover. It's just the first day and it already looked like everyone had decided to shuffle their sleeping places every night. Well, why not? We are free to do so. I don't want to sleep alone. Sorry, tomorrow you can stay with me, okay? Okay. The night after that with me, okay? 大人気だね。Okay. Chandra 3人で寝ればいいのに。Chandra smiled gently. Which rooms do you have? I have room 172. Mine is 148. Mine is. Chandra paused, her eyes scanning the walls, seeking for a signpost before turning to look back at us. I forgot. What? It's written on your key. Oh. Chandra dropped her gaze to her satchel. After digging at the key, she read the number out loud. Number 414. Oh, we are in the same carriage. Almost neighbors. 寝台列車なんだ。Neighbors. 寝台列車っていうか、寝室付き列車なんだ。How come here is so far away? Sunako turned to ask me. Do you know, not like it matters, I suppose. It's crazy how big this damn train is. It's pretty impressive. I feel like I could get lost here. You can just follow the numbers. You should remember that advice. Chandra stared at Sunako for a bit before turning to me. Show me where your room is, sis. カリンダ、sure. いまいちカリンダとさ、チャンドラのどっちがどっちなのかわかんないんだけど。You gonna go back to kiss now? Works for me. Sunako beamed a bright smile, giving Chandra a quick hug. Gah! Chandra let out with a blank face as she got squeezed. You're as cute as a button. I'm a person. You're silly little girl. That's what you are. Sunako clarified as she ended the hug with a smile. Chandra barely reached, but we knew she was happy about the exchange. See you too soon. Sunako playfully waved us off before leaving with a cheerful step. 言えたSunako. Ready? Ready. Did you see the vending machines? I wanna try the iced tea. Where? Do you want one? Yeah. Sure. We can get there first. Lead me the way. Okay. Chandra said because she was once more looking for the signpost. Maybe we can just get a drink if we pass one. You don't remember where it was, huh? I don't. That's fine. I gave Chandra a laugh on top of her head before we both started to walk. なんか外の景色がずいぶん荒れ果ててる。Are you still tired? Extremely. Are you gonna nap? I was thinking I should. I entirely failed to fall asleep last night in a timely manner, and that was on top of me looking really late. 服がなんか可愛らしい服着てるよね、2人とも。Chandra commented that she sat down on the seat but quickly stood up once more. Oh, I thought if I sit down, you can extend the bed. Oh, right. Do you know how to do it? I spent a moment looking at the mechanism. All the bedrooms has normal sheets which you could pull off the wall to extend into a bed. An appropriate design choice for increased comfort, given the time people spend sleeping here. なるほどね。だからベッドにできる椅子があるお部屋なんだね。I reached for a latch and pulled without needing to use a string. During the mechanism pivoted to reveal more of the mattress from the beneath. The backrest smoothly pushed out as the seats gracefully transformed into one half of a cozy bed. いいな。I walked over to repeat the same for the other side of the room to get the final half of my bed set up. Ah, well, now I do know. It was simpler than I thought. It was. Chandra sat down on the bed and took out her phone. Are you gonna stay if I'm gonna nap? これ飛行機で行くよりこういうさ、寝台列車で行った方が安い地域もあるから、そこは考えもんだよ。飛行機も爆発するしな。何だったんだろうね、成田空港の。Are you gonna stay if I'm gonna nap? She was silent for a while before speaking up. I play my game for a bit. We are going to look for Cherry. As long as you don't start getting too loud. I don't get loud. You do when you get excited. I huffed as I sat down and started removing my shoes. Chandra pouted that she stared, lowering the volume of her mobile games into the jingle. わ、また横文字。In truth, Chandra wasn't all that loud, but sometimes she might forget she meant to be quiet and would accidentally wake me up. It wasn't uncommon for us to nap in the presence of each other, sometimes me at her place or her at mine. The main issue was her tendency to randomly kick me in the middle of the night, which didn't fit her timid exterior one bit, and her denying it ever happened just made it significantly more frustrating. I wasn't intending to sleep for long, and so I lay down with basically just my headband and shoes removed. The bed was softer than I had been expecting. My bed was one of the most expensive things I had ever bought outside of my computer, and still it felt like this strange mattress was on par. This really felt like a luxury trip I could never afford on my own. I hadn't planned much other than that I wanted to check out the library before the night, so I would have something to read in the morning, so a little nap was in order so I could continue enjoying my time here without being tired. 優雅だね。優雅なバカンスだね。We had stopped talking and we were comfortably together in silence now. I rested my head and closed my eyes. It was unreal how tired I was the moment I had shut my eyes. The weight of the failed night before immediately dragging me towards my slumber. Slumber って枕のこと？ The sound of the train and the little taps of Chandra's fingers hitting her screen were calm and comforting. スリープサウンドでよくあるよね。ファンの音。低い重低音がずっと機械的に続くと眠たくなってくるんだよね。It didn't take long for my consciousness to fade. チャンドラが妹なんだね。シーナップ。眠ったんだ。I feel sweaty was my first thought, slowly rising from my rest with the sound of the train. I took note of how comfortable the mattress had been. I had fallen asleep so quickly and slept soundly. Perhaps the background ambience had helped me sleep even better than before. I had deserved a good rest. So, once I opened my eyes, it was rather surprising how dark it was. Chandra wasn't here either, and as I reached to check up my phone, I realized it was close to midnight. 夜中に目を覚ました。 カリンダは、カリンダが主人公ね。I really managed to sleep 7 hours just like that. This is what I get for forgetting to put on an alarm. It was so late now that I figured I might as well try to sleep more, but despite how ridiculously tired I had been all day, now that I had the option to sleep, I already felt like I had gotten the rest I needed. Instead of taking out my phone and just browsing nonsense for a while, I figured a walk could serve the purpose better, while also getting to enjoy the fact that I was on a trip. 列車の中を探検だ。Being on the train was a calming at night like this. Knowing that the rooms were full of passengers added to the sense of loneliness. People were so close, yet the only one I saw was my own weak reflection as I passed the windows. The seats in the hallway that we had fought to find space to shed in, coats they had been too busy, were entirely empty. Even the cafeteria was unmanned at this time. And previously, there had been a queue to get a single bite from the menu. We had been told that everyone was free to wander around regardless time as long as we didn't bother others, but it looked like it was just me who was taking the liberty tonight. There wasn't much to do. The library and cafeteria were closed at night. Only the showers and vending machines were still unusable. With the amount of junctions I crossed, it felt like the train might just last forever. But as elaborate and beautiful the massive train was, after walking for 10 minutes and the feeling of discovery was slowly wearing off, as each carriage was so similar to every other one. The most interesting thing became the sprawling night landscapes I could see through the windows. The rhythmic motion of the train set the scene, as if orchestrating a symphony of sights and sounds. The world bathed in moonlight, casting silver glitter over the dense forests and mountainous cliffs, reflecting off the meandering rivers to transform them into mirrors that spread the beauty from everywhere between sky and earth. 詩的な表現だね。文学的だ。会話よりこういう背景描写があるノベルっていうのは珍しいかもね。フリーゲームの短編とかだと。The radiant light of the moon cast down from the darkness of the sky all over the sprawling land.While the world outside stood still just the same as it did inside, I started making my way back and returned along the occasionally winding passageway, noticing the numbered chambers slowly approach my own each time. Each time I took my gaze off the astonishingly picturesque landscape. 誰もいないのこの列車。After a corner, I noticed something unexpected. あれ、知らない人。A girl I couldn't recognize, seemingly a few years older than me, was on her phone and leaning against the door I definitely had to pass through. She had not been here when I passed before, and she didn't seem to notice me. Excuse me?Without a sound, she slowly raised her gaze up to me, quietly observing me. Her eyes showed disinterest, but the amount of the time her gaze lingered on me gave me a mixed signals. What? She bluntly questioned something that should be obvious. She returned her focus back to her phone before I even had the chance to respond, so eager to forget about me. Sorry, you are in my way.Oh, I am? She uttered under her breath, not showing any signs of actually moving. Only the sound of the train's constant humming stopped the moment's romping in the pure silence of the night. I just stared at her, awkwardly waiting for her to react. And just as it seemed like I might have to speak up again, she left the drone outside.Then tugged herself off the door and stepped outside. こんな真夜中に何やってんだろう。スマホでモンスターハンターにもやってたのかな。 どっか行こうぜみたいな。Now that I was taking a better look at her as a person and not an obstacle, she was unreasonably beautiful. That is what stood out the most. Out of my league, definitely. So out of my league, that it made me feel the need to even consider this. Not that any of that mattered, given how disinterested in me she seemed. She also seemed quite rude on top of that. I didn't wish to cause a fuss. Without even making eye contact, I was ready to leave and return back to my privacy. A hand stopped me by my shoulder. I felt my heart skip a beat as I glanced over, startled. この人は人間なの？ウサギだ。ウサギだ。いや、多分ここに耳があるんだ。見切れちゃってるけど。この人は犬かな。Wanna hang out? She asked, as if it was the most normal thing in the world to say. What? Hang out? I was caught rather off guard, questioning if I had even heard her correctly, but her expecting demeanor matched her words. Is this really something to ask from a stranger? It could be. Might as well. Huh? Really? What was this girl thinking? I was going to sleep. You don't look tired. You're just going to decide for me? Sure. 推しが強い。I was right. She was rude. I felt a pang of nervousness. I tried to stop tensing up my shoulders and step away just enough to create a bit of distance. She didn't look dangerous, but why would she be interested in me? Come on, what's the harm? We're gonna be stuck here all week. Might as well get the most out of it, right? So she was lonely, was it? I might have come on the trip with friends, but even then I was just planning to relax. She did have a point, but what could two strangers even talk about? Awkward. The time it took for me to ponder on the option was enough for her patience to run out. With a shove on my back, she started walking with me. Don't overthinking it, idiot. Just leave if you don't feel like it. Idiot? Is this really how you make friends? It's working fine enough so far. まあその方が気軽だよな。It's hard to be bored together. She shrugged and kept on pushing me around with her. Wait, seriously? You're just taking me with you? Chill, I won't try anything weird. I'm not gonna hurt you. It's difficult to take it seriously when you're just stealing me in the first place. She sneaked and rolled her eyes. With one more shove of her hand, she let go of me. This time it was me who was walking on my own. I let out a deep sigh. Well, I guess this is happening, so what's on the agenda? You good with alcohol? Kinda. My gaze flickered to the ground. Memories of all nights I'd get drunk alone at home made me feel like I was underselling myself. Yeah, I drink. Do drugs? I gave her a long glance. What was I meant to answer? I didn't really know anyone that was like that. Don't fret it, just wondering. Right, don't get your hopes up. I only got alcohol with me, so she clarified. 薬は持ってないのか。What? You looked curious. After walking in solitude, if これは恋愛ゲームなのかな。まだ何とも言えないな。でも最初なんかコンテンツワーニング出てたしな。ホラーなのかな。I had bumped into someone for a while. I had been convinced that it was just me out here. Not that we stayed out for long. We only had to travel to the next carriage before she stopped by the door. With the train gently rocking, it took a couple attempts for even to unlock her door. No matter how beautiful, she was just a human too. Human なの？It made me feel a bit more at ease. この人のお部屋に来て Without a second thought, she just walked in and left it up to me to follow and close the door after us. The sound of the train hitting the tracks muted once the door pressed shut. It was a bit bigger than my chamber, but still pretty much the same. Everything felt so nonchalant. I had no idea where this all would lead. ね。So, like, what's your name? Darina, you? Karinda. Sweet, good name. Thanks, I gave it myself. She paused. I paused. Without losing composure, she gave me a better look than before. I immediately felt a wave of heat surging through me. Awkward. I had gotten so caught up in the moment. It was always weird interacting with new people because of this, at least where I was from. Basically, everyone seemed to know I was trans. ああ、この人はトランスなんだね。Little but it's like that were fine. Transgender か。It wasn't like I spent time talking to people who already weren't my friends in the first place. Fortunately, most didn't care, most didn't make a big deal about it, but there was always that one portion of people who just made me feel dead inside anytime I had to think about this. I peaked transgender homo. I start but quickly get interrupted. It's fine, doesn't bother me. Awkward, but hearing that still is a relief. It's hard to tell what she's thinking. Her expression didn't give much away, unlike mine. トランスジェンダーの人って男でも女でも付き合えるっていう人っていうか、自分の性別が男でもないし女でもない人のことを指すんだっけ？深い区分わかんないけど。Why are you sweating like that? You think I didn't get the joke? Zarina's voice cut right through the tricky air with her detached tone. Her gaze was already leaving me as she turned her attention towards her belongings. I need you to know. I'm an awkward person, okay? Yeah, I noticed, Zarina said after having already turned around. She opened her suitcase and sloppily started to dig. Noticed? Did she really have to say it like that? Fuck. A new punch to my gut, actually, making me reconsider if I should be here. This wasn't off to a good start, was it? In a rather dismissive manner, she kicked aside some of the scattered clothes which had dropped on the floor, while practically slamming a bottle of travel-sized liquor in my hands. Alcohol か。I will not leave my little stuck in some boonies. I'm gay and shit. Relax, drink. Right. I stammered, trying to regain my composure. Zarina sat down on the sheets, which had been extended into a bed. She started her own drink while glancing back at me. She seemed effortlessly confident, completely at ease with herself, unlike me. The irony of the situation wasn't lost on me. Here I was, trying to make outside myself not feel like a huge mistake, only to be confronted by someone who was not only openly gay, but also undeniably attractive. It made my insecurities bubble to the surface. Of course, the gay girl was also the pretty one. That's how it just went. All things considered, things were going rather smoothly. A best case scenario of coming out of a stranger, but it was impossible to shake off my nervousness. I fought to screw open the bottle, but the awkwardness of the situation lighted my motivation to drink. I glanced briefly at Zarina. She clearly had more interest in opening her own can of cider than the fact that I was trans. トランスとゲイの違いが分かんないんだよな。いや、ゲイの人は同性を好きになる人で、トランスジェンダーは男でも女でも好きになる人のことを指すのか。With nothing to say and my eyes now glued to my bottle, I tried to wrap my mind around this situation. I went for a nervous chug just to be punched in the face by the intensity of alcohol. My face twitched and my cheeks tingled, shuddering as I downed the first sip. A new wave of heat was rushing through me. I felt sudden anxiety spike up in my gut with a realization. ストロングゼロかな。ストゼロ飲んでんのか。Was he picking me up? At no point had I considered that until now. I had tried really hard to put on my very best for this trip, just for myself and my friends, but the extra effort paying off now? But I couldn't stay quiet forever. I had to say something. So, how's your day been so far? She huffled as if the question wasn't worth answering. Woke up and got ready for the trip, so boring, you're the highlight. In a rush, I went in another ship and reached just as strongly as the first time. With how nervous I was, the only thing I could find comfort in was getting a bit tipsy so I could deal with what was even happening in the first place. 飲み会でさ、何にも喋ることなくてさ、喋ることないし、相手のことをよく知らない人と話さなきゃいけないとき、ほんとお酒飲むしかないよね。ほんとあれ何の時間なんだろうって思っちゃう。高い金払ってさあ、時間削って自分の時間削ってまで何してんだろうって思っちゃうね。しかも飲み放題のさ、料金でさ、大して飲まないし、一部の人しか飲まないし、4000円とか5000円とかかかるんだよ。それで月に1回とかさ、3ヶ月に1回ぐらいあってさ、そういうのが嫌になっちゃうな。断りゃいいんだけど、どうけどね。でもさ、毎回は断れないでしょ。難しいんだよな。それが難しい。This wasn't right. Maybe she was mean after all. My gaze fell down to my bottle again, not having anything to respond with as I avoided looking at Zarina after her remark. This wasn't the normal way to talk to someone you just met with. How was I meant to navigate this situation? Perhaps this night should just end here. 二人ともちょっとぎこちない感じになってんだね。お酒の力でなんとか乗り越えるしかない。Maybe I should just leave after all. Why you'd rather to go to sleep than get to know me? You haven't even sat down yet. またってんの。I sit down? That would mean that I'd be committing even more to staying here. My gaze drifted between her and the spot that I had the potential to sit down at. I was just the first day on this long trip, and this woman had clearly laid out her bed for the night. The pillows and the blanket looked as if they had already laid resting there for a while and then got up after falling to sleep. That's it, presumably when I found her, or to put it more precisely, when she found me. Zarina's cold demeanor showed a spark of frustration with how indecisive I was. She chugged the rest of her drink and let go of her can, letting it hit the floor with a metallic thud. かっこいい。あ、いったー。She raised up just enough to grab onto my hip and tug me down to sit right by her. これは性犯罪だよ。My pulse skyrocketed in an instant. It was now us two sitting side by side as she stared into my eyes with an intensity that made my mind look up, and the hand which still remained on my hip was not helping one bit. Why did she just drop the can too? Be normal about it and press it down or something. You're gonna have to make a mess. Fucking hell. We are too incompetent to have a conversation with that pretty face. Let's just skip right into the making out. My heart was racing. pounding in my chest as if it was trying to break free as a wave of dizziness washed over me. The cold bottle in my hands made my palms feel even sweater than they already were. Hold up. I thought you said you won't write anything. I also said you can leave at any point you want. She boldly leaned closer, close enough for me to taste the cider from her breath, as her cold eyes had grown into something far more playful. Make out? I could just make out with this hot girl if I wanted. Would I just do that? Did I even want that? That's creeped in, whispering questions about my own worthiness. What consequences could I not see? What did such a simple decision lead to? It was impossible to see things in perspective when those soft lips were right in front of me. いや、選択肢出てなかったからね。こうなることは最初から決まってたんだ。It definitely had been a while since I last kissed someone like that. I did miss the feeling of intimacy, but not like this. Wait, I feel so overwhelmed. Yeah, yes, and? Did you drug me or something? It's literally just booze, you idiot. I feel weird and hot and dizzy. That's normal because I'm trying to fucking make out with ya. Are you sure you didn't put anything weird in this? 入れたんじゃないの? Really? The playfulness in her eyes faded away with a sigh. Darina's shoulders dropped muttered under her breath. You literally opened it yourself. I instantly felt guilty for running the moment as she stared at me like I was at the most dull thing she could have gotten her hands on. Suddenly, the bottle was snatched from my hand so she could wave it right in front of my eyes. It looked normal. The bottle was small and cute, but I couldn't recognize the brand, but it looked like something I might have already drunk in the past. And then she took a chug of her own, and like me, she did so with grace, swallowing without making weird faces as she continued. See, normal. If it was something sketchy, we'll both pass the fuck out together. I slightly moved my head away to try and better assess the situation. My heart was still pounding endlessly as I was stuck between two decisions. The pressure to act felt unbearable, but there was no way around, and the fact that I wanted to see where this night could go. Okay, she repeated. That was my consent, maybe? I wasn't too sure. My body felt tense as my empty hands shook involuntarily to make my inner turmoil obvious to the woman in front of me, but once the amused look returned on her face, I clearly understood she was just having fun toying with me. Things happened so fast, I was just left staring at her with my mouth hanging open, unaware of how my expression made it crystal clear that I was waiting for her to carry on, and without even knowing, slowly inclining my face closer to hers. Make sure to swallow. Wah, huh? She raised the drink to her lips once more, tilting her head back as she drained the contents entirely in her mouth. My brows knit, puzzled by the cryptic command as the room was filled with a new metallic thud from a rolling bottle on the floor. Wah! そういうことだよね。Swallow. She grabbed onto me and leaned in for a bold kiss, not just the taste of strong booze, but the actual liquid itself pushed into my mouth. My eyes widened as the heads up meant that I barely managed to stop myself from breathing in and choking on the liquid. She held me by the chin as we locked our lips, and she forced me to share the drink with her. A streak of the liquor rolled down my lips, dripping down to my clothes as my cheeks and tongue were tingling with the strong taste. Worms blossomed in my chest as I drank all I could from her mouth. Our lips brushed together as she forced me to swallow as much as possible with no care that my clothes could get wet. This was nothing like I was used to. Not long-term, slow relationship that took months to reach some kind of confession that allowed me to kiss as a climax. She had toned down those experiences for something entirely different. This was a meaningless kiss, one with a weirdly red stranger that felt more like fighting against drowning at first. 嬉しそうだね、でも。But it didn't stop the sensation from being as real as they could be. My mind went blank. I couldn't open my eyes. The only thing keeping me upright were Zarina's hands. Once I was able to swallow everything, I only had time for one inhale of fresh air before she pushed her tongue past my lips as if they needed to still taste more of the booze she had given me. When I finally opened my eyes, the whole room had tilted over, surely explaining why I felt so disoriented. I discovered that I was lying on the bed and she was on top of me, hungrily making up until our lips parted. I could see her grinning at me. She was so unreasonably attractive, and I was just staring with my mouth wide open, too inexperienced to be able to handle it gracefully. It was as if it was written right on my face for her to read. Good girl, pretty good for a virgin. That backhanded compliment for keeping up with her stunned me. Waves of red-hot humiliation ran through me as I was felt bewildered. Virgin? I wasn't virgin. I'm not the... I'm second virgin. Second virgin って何なの? Zarina found my reaction so amusing. She bursted out into a proper laugh for the first time. Her eyes focused on me, while her breath hit my face the entire time. All the alcohol was catching up to me. My head felt so heavy, even when resting against the bed. Sweat trickled down my forehead as the room kept spinning. The rocking of the train was not helping the situation. Really? You have fooled me with how hard you already are. To make matters worse, the walls seemed to close in even further. Time was coming to a halt as each heartbeat made me feel like it might be the last. With my entire focus on her impossibly soft lips, only now I realized just how tight my panties had gotten. ちょっと待って、どういうこと？主人公男ってこと？主人公男ってこと？ちょっと待って。追いつけない、この作品に追いついていけてない。何が起こってるんだ。This was too embarrassing, instantly getting so erect from just a kid. 主人公は男でキスされて興奮してるってことなんだね。で、トランスジェンダーと。いろいろ突っ込みどころはあるけど。And with her on top of me, her crotch was pressing right against my bulge, which she made sure to rub against me to prove her words to be the truth. Wait, why was she saying virgin? Was this moving towards sex? This wasn't just going to be making out? Were we gonna fuck? It wasn't just the dizziness I felt, but everything I experienced felt more intense. Even her eyes seemed more vibrant than they ever had been before. Every interaction and every single word exchanged between us wrapped my mind even deeper in this tangled mess, entirely stuck on being unable to even consider what my next move was. I was entirely under her mercy. Maybe I wasn't ready for this, but as she leaned back down and pressed her lips right against mine, I felt like I was. Her fingers made contact with my crotch. I instantly gasped from the falling touch. Eyes held wide as I exhaled into her mouth. 面白くなってきたね。With a quick adjustment, she fixed my skirt up and pressed her crotch down against mine with a growing intention and precision. Her in her shorts, me in my tights. It wasn't direct contact, but it was more. It was easily enough to make the rocking of her hips in the sync of our kisses feel exhilarating. Maybe it was the alcohol, or maybe it was the impulsiveness of everything, but I found myself returning the kisses with growing eagerness. I found her the rhythm as we stopped trying to exchange words and spoke with our bodies instead. She had been right. This wasn't boring at all. It's just that this wasn't what I was like normally, a sudden hookup with someone I've known for minutes, but there was no time to focus on the details. Each new kiss felt so intense. Everyone took something from me, drawing something out of me, and there was a heat within me. She knew what she was doing, grinding herself against my erection. She locked her fingers with mine. Her cheeks had turned red. Her breathing had gotten heavy. Sweat trickled down my forehead as I saw the breathtaking face close enough to blur. The world momentarily stood still, but like a punch to my gut, shame and embarrassment spilled out as my excitement kept on rising. I felt my hips move as my dick twitched, quickly moaning into the kisses. My face was on fire. By now, I felt too sweaty to be wearing all these clothes. This felt too good. All this time, I had been too shy to properly take a hold of her, but I've had enough of that. I reached for her hips, immediately feeling how soft and warm she was, feeling aroused by how decisively she was grinding herself against me. Just the idea that she was getting pressure from me sent a dash through my body. I might not last long like this. I wanted out of these clothes. I wanted to feel better. I wanted to pull out of her top and press myself against her skin. I wanted to bury myself into her. I wanted to inside of her. Actually, I wasn't going to last long at all. But she entirely ignored me, just getting more aggressive in return, breathing deeply as she kept on putting even more focus onto her backing hips, dry humping as her hands kept me pinned down. Her expression was intoxicated by her lust, electrifying eyes staring so deep into me or gaze the crowd couldn't even meet. She wasn't going to stop, and neither was the pressure building up in me. I could feel the world turn intangible, and the realization that I was going to come made me heart pound with unease. Even with the climax unavoidable, her soft lips weren't enough to keep me tethered to the intensity of the blissful moment. Instead, all of my focus was suddenly drawn to the fact that I felt sick to my stomach, and all this motion had me feeling like I was gonna sink through the bed at any moment now. An overwhelming tightness in my abdomen overrode the needs of my cock. Waves of discomfort had me pry my hand out of Zarina's, trying to hold her hips. She was dragging our lips apart, before slamming my palms to cover my mouth as I latched my head off to the side. I was all too late. うわー、そっちが出ちゃったんだね。下の方じゃなくて上の方が出ちゃったんだ。As if something was squeezing and pushing my insides, my body was urged to rid myself of this distress. Zarina's attempts to continue making love finally stopped as I let out a wretched gag and cough. My body convulsed as the contents of my stomach were expelled into my palm, splashing onto the side of the bed and onto the floor in a visceral display of my body purging itself. I had barely managed to aim towards the ground in time as I felt a burning new wave pushing up my throat and into my mouth. Bleh. What the fuck? Zarina screamed out. During the motion, I caught a glimpse of her face mixed with disgust and dismay before a sharp pain on my hair roughly tuggled my hair off to the side. With how my point of view was just jostled around. Zarina might as well be flipping the whole cabin around with how vigorously she was moving my hair, but the sight of bloody floor made throwing up a significantly less humiliating experience instead of doing so on Zarina's bed. 確かにね、アルコール飲んで激しい運動すると酔いが回って気持ち悪くなっちゃうからね。まあそうなるよね。お酒に弱い人だと。自分も経験あるけど、特に頭激しく振ると気持ち悪くなっちゃうから三半規管に来て吐きやすくなるよね。それにお酒ってやっぱ毒だから体が拒否するんだよね。飲み慣れてないと。A new squeeze in my guts had me clutch my stomach and cough painfully before rhythmic spasms sent a new release, and alcohol burned my throat and nose. The taste and the smell made me feel even more lightheaded than I already was, and the hand painfully clutching my hair felt comforting in comparison to the bodily urge to empty my insides all over the floor. As my head hung down the sticky rope dribbled down to the floor, the worst of the convulsing felt like it was over. There was little relief to be found, just exhaustion. My overwhelmed body was still in overdrive from everything leading up to this moment. I felt my panties wet as my erection had disappeared. This was the worst ruined orgasm ever. Worst makeout session too. Worst a lot of things. Given that my goal wasn't to come off for the most pathetic failure of a person, physically and emotionally spent, the fact that I was way too drunk at midnight caught up to me. The last thing I remember was a faint sigh from behind me and a hand resting on the back of my head. Hey, focus. A tap on the side of my head roused me as the words spoken to me sounded like they came from far away. It's you who wanted me to drag you over here. Everything was spinning. The swaying of the train, which was meant to be gentle, felt more like riding a roller coaster. The moment I tried opening my eyes, the bright lights felt painful. Clumsily, I tried to cover my face, but my hand bumped against what I quickly identified as the toilet bowl. A quick glance over my shoulder, I saw the cold gaze of Zarina aimed at me, stuck in a tiny train bathroom with me that barely had space for one person. まだやってんの俺。Just get it over with. My eyes weakly focused on the empty toilet bowl. The unease in my guts painted the picture of what I was here for. I really needed to throw up. I tried, and nothing happened. I want to, but I coughed harder while clinging onto the side of the toilet. The hand on my... だからさ、ゲロ出せそうで出せない時が一番辛いよね。って込み上げるんだけどさ、結局出なくてさ、戻ってっちゃうの、下に。あれの状態が一番辛いよね。確かに。それはわかる。どっちかにしてほしいよね。出るかもう出ないかさ。しかもトイレ行くとまたね、もう吐きたくなるんだよね。このトイレの形状がもうさ、あれもうゲロするようにできてるもんね。うんこだけどさ、もうゲロする形だもん。ゲロする形なんだよ。家具なのかあれは。うわ No matter how sick to my stomach I felt, the only thing I could get out were dry coughs and gagging. I felt like I had to throw up, but it seemed impossible, and Zarina's patience had run out as well. A finger surprised me when she attempted to slip it into my mouth. What do you think you're doing? I quickly put my hair away from her. What does it look like? I'm helping you puke. You can't do that. That's disgusting. I really don't care. You'll be glad after you throw up. You like it. Zarina stared down at me with disinterest towards my complaints. Despite her persistence, she wasn't trying to force her finger down my throat and was just waiting for my reaction. I couldn't look her in the eyes. I just resigned myself to her demands and turned to face the toilet. This felt so wrong. Just earlier it had been her tongue sliding against mine, but now she was coldly putting her fingers down my throat. I was making weird sounds, but she didn't shy away from creating more gags and a cough later. My instincts won over and tried to pull me away from her fingers. ボイスが出た。これだけフルボイス。違う、これボイスじゃない、効果音だ。BGM だ。But I barely managed to object when she grabbed my hair, still sore from the tugging from before. Holding me in place, she jammed her fingers into my mouth and coldly pressed down. My eyes welled up with tears, and I felt my insides squeeze with every painful cough. Even against the pain of my hair being held, I wrestled my head back and the fingers out of my mouth. I kept on gagging, drawing down my chin as I turned to dry and look at Zarina staring back at me with an emotionless face. なんでこんなさ、このゲロの描写、詳細に書くんだろう。こだわりを感じる作者の。She sighed again, her eyes asking me if I wanted this to end or not. But in the end, she just let me cough and catch my breath, waiting long enough for me to speak up. Are you mad at me? I asked her with teary eyes. Her shoulders dropped with an exhale, staring at my question with uninterested as she dismissed it immediately. Shut up! I need more puke and less words coming out of your mouth. This time she took a better grip of my hair, painfully squeezing as she pressed my face into the bowl by probably jamming her fingers down my throat and rubbing until instead of just desperate and pathetic whimpers and coughs, the red thing was able to bring up all the rest. I felt her warm and soft body pressing down on my back the entire time. 歪んでるな。やったね。シーバーフ。これがインターミッションになってるのか。Good morning, bath girl. Nah. Had fun? I feel like shit. Is that a yes? No. Here she was testing me, while I couldn't even make eye contact. Humiliating. I had fallen asleep with all my clothes still on, and so now I woke up feeling all sweaty and stuffy. I tried to gather my surroundings to assess the situation I was waking up in after such a confusing night. I quickly noticed the mess from before was miraculously cleaned. Instead of suffering from just a headache, I also had to suffer from the guilt of forcing Zarina to handle. At least it didn't feel like she was making this into a big deal, just minding her own business even after I was waking up in her bed. Did she do impulsive stuff like this a lot? Her life must have been entirely different from mine. 慣れてるもんね、この人。カリンダ。My head still hurts, I muttered under my breath. 経験豊富なんだろうな、ザリーナは。 I thought you said you're good with alcohol. That was too much and too fast. The train isn't helping. I mean, at least it wasn't boring, but you really need to step up your game, she shrugged, before dropping the conversation. I don't exactly know what happened. The alcohol played its part, but things just escalated so fast. It might have been just normal anxiety, which made me feel sick. まあそれもあるしな、電車の揺れもあっただろうし。I wanted to ask what she was thinking now. What she thought about everything which had happened. What all that even was for in the first place. Maybe she was just bored, and I helped her not be. I hope remained that she wouldn't think poorly of me. I pushed myself up, taking a moment to gather myself as I let my feet touch the floor, only now daring to actually take a proper look at Zarina, just to see her sitting upright on the bed, silently on her phone, just herself, tank top and panties. I can't believe I almost threw up into this hot girl's mouth. I hope she didn't have to taste it. The party was over. I wanted to disappear now. There's no way to come back from this. I should just forget about this night and move on. It was hard to focus on the situation. I still felt half asleep and now see, I felt had me concerned I might have to go kiss the porcelain goddess again. First things first, it was time to escape this humiliating hell. I wanna leave now. I wasn't sure what I had been expecting, but I knew her response wasn't what I had wanted either. She was just going to let me leave like that. Did I want her to not let me go? Somehow it felt too easy to leave. As I reached the door, my hand paused on the handle. A second passed before I turned to look over my shoulder. Bye. Two dots. Was this really it? We might not even see each other again. What? まだ最後まで言ってないのに。You need me to kiss you goodbye or something? No, yeah, I just... why was she like this? You know where to find me. Yeah. I returned my gaze to the handle. My chamber number is 172. 電話番号をさ、残していくみたいなノリで電話の番号言ったね。I felt her eyes on me. I gathered whatever was left of my confidence to cautionary glance back towards her just so I could see her deviously smirking back at me with intensity I could not comprehend. With my cheeks heating up, I quickly rushed through the door, trying to leave my humiliating memories behind me, but I knew there was no use. I knew I couldn't stop thinking about her. My heart was already pounding just from the memory that was reality that. The first thing I did after closing her door was to look at the number on it. 168. I wasn't going to forget that. Trying to think back to what I still remembered from yesterday, the kissing and how quickly it turned into a pleasure. After that, it's all kind of vague. I knew I was in the bathroom with her and that's that. The carriage was no longer empty. People sat on the sides and chatted amongst themselves. Some light traffic of people walked along the same path I was rushing through to get back to my own chamber. It felt like people were staring at me, and that made my blushing even worse. I was trying my best to quickly get back to the room, but my brain was endlessly stuck on everything that happened last night. Even as I stumbled my key out of my skirt pocket, it was impossible to not think about the kissing. I could still remember the taste of her soft lips, the weight of her chest pressing down on me, her crotch firmly against mine, and how fully erect I had been. My heart skipped a beat with the realization. The memories had brought back a tingle of arousal, and with that, I felt myself getting a bit hard. and that made me notice I was entirely missing my underwear. She stole my panties. My free hand is slammed down against my crotch. I felt my cock through my skirt as waves of heat ran from head. かなり危険な状態だよな。で、男がスカート履く、男がノーパンでスカート履くとさ、あんまりスカートが短いともう見えちゃうよね。危険だな。しゃがんだらとんでもないことになるしな。Nah, I squeaked out. What was hell? What the hell was this? Why she was looking so smug at me near the end? パンツ目的だったってこと？パンツ泥棒だったのかな、最初から。Had she been so... でもさ、パンツどういうパンツ履いてんだろうね。いや、そういうこと言うとちょっと変態みたいに聞こえるかもしれない。気になるよね。トランスジェンダーのさ、男の人が女の格好するときにどういうパンツを履くのかってことが。で、普通のパンティだと面積的にさあ、包みきれないでしょ？いろいろ部品が多いからさ。で、そう考えるとやっぱ男物のパンツを履くのか。トランクスとかさ、でも女の人だってボクサーパンツ履くでしょ？履く人もいるでしょ？そういう風に考えるとやっぱりボクサーパンツが一番正解なのかな。そこ、これから多分答え合わせができると思うからね。そこが一番注目するところなのかな。そういうのでミステリー要素が入ってるのかな。どんなパンツを履いてるかっていうのが。ここがミステリーなのか。列車とミステリーは切り離せないからね。And the fact that I could feel the blood rushing down to my cock made it clear to me I was still horny. I'd just go in and masturbate and then figure what to do. スカートだとマスターベーションはしやすそうだけどね。まあいいや。おかしくなりそうだ。Why are you squeezing your crotch like that? Are you about to have an accident? キャー。キャーじゃないよ。キャーじゃないよ。トイレでやればいいのに。なんで自分のさ、チャンバーでやろうとするのかな。理解に苦しむよな。Chandra had manifested out of thin air to blankly stare at me. この妹も男なの。妹は妹なの。No, I fuck. You startled me. Huh? Are you leaking? Hold on, stop jumping to conclusion. Just shush and come in. Chandra tilted. Leak. Chandra tilted her head as she kept on staring at me with an confusion as I struggled to open the door. Then I grabbed her hand and pulled her into my chamber with me. Oh, good lord. First, I just need to catch my breath. Without Chandra's interference, I would have started masturbating, and only after that, I would focus on putting on a new pair of underwear. よかったね。新しいパンツを手に入れた。パンツがないと人間じゃないもんな。人間と動物を分ける条件っていうのはパンツを履いてるかいないかだからね。I was still feeling a bit horny, but clearly this wasn't the time and place. I had to leave that for later. Even though I was the most comfortable around Chandra, the fact that I was suddenly going commando had my hands holding the front of my skirt just in case. Are you sure you don't need to pee, sis? Yes. Now drop it. Chandra replied with a blank stare. How was I meant to even start explaining everything I didn't even know what to think of what had just happened to myself yet, and now I had to explain to someone else. Ooh, my head hurts. Did you sleep badly? No, it's because I was drinking last night. Your alcoholic tendencies have followed us here as well. Not like that. How much should I tell her? It was hard to know when it came to Chandra. Everything I said she could abruptly bring up later, perhaps even in the company of others. なあ、おしゃべりなんだ。But at the same time, she was really good listening. When I had something weighing on my mind, the most reliable person I knew, never knowing if she would hit me with humor or something overly serious. In the end, it all tended to have the effect of calming me down when I needed it the most. With a sigh, I decided to stop trying to overthink this. I need to start with putting on new underwear. My underwear was stolen. まだそれ。まだ言ってなかったのか。言ってなかったのか。Chandra's eyes dropped down to my crotch, staying there for a handful of seconds before rising back up to meet my gaze. Are you okay? Were you assaulted by someone? I was not. Oh, Chandra tilted her head, looking puzzled by how I could have lost my panties. なんでパンティってさ、複数形なんだろう。一枚だよな。パンティってさ、ズボンだったらわかるよ。ズボンだったらさ、パンツって言うでしょ。ズボンのことパンツって言うでしょ。だから足入れるとこが2つあるから複数形なんだよね。パンツもそうか、同じ理屈か。丈は短いけど、足入れるとこ2本に分かれてるから、パンツって言うんだな。てかシャツもシャツだしな、そういえば。シャツも複数形だしな。手入れるとこ2本あるから、複数形なんだね。そういう風に思っておこう。Just to make sure you are enjoying it. I sighed and shook my head. I walked over to my suitcase and kneeled down to open it. My skirt was pretty short, and the moment I felt my knees touch the floor, I felt my tail rise the bubbly. Is that? Oh, it was true. I can almost see a butthole. Quit looking at my butthole. You are the one showing it to me. I moved my hand back to try and fix it, but quickly gave up and instead just focused on moving aside clothes from my suitcase to find the underwear I was looking for. It didn't matter too much in the end. It wasn't like Chandra hadn't seen everything before. そうだよ。だって姉妹なんだからさ。小さい頃に一緒にお風呂にも入ってるし、なんら不思議なことはないんだよ。I stood up and stepped into my new panties. Whatever Chandra had arrived here for clearly wasn't all that pleasing compared to my situation, given that she was just quietly waiting for me to proceed with an explanation. Right. I would appreciate if you consider this all a big secret, okay? Big secret. I paused a bit to put my weight on my words before we both nodded at each other. Yesterday, after you left, I ended up sleeping until almost midnight and couldn't get back to sleep, so I went out on a walk and bumped into some girl. Did she steal your underwear? Yes, but we must get them back. What? No. Why? I don't think she should have taken them. Me neither, but she did. Was she scary? Maybe. She didn't just put them off me and run off or anything. Oh, we drank together and kissed for a bit, and it was still embarrassing to explain what had happened. I nervously adjusted my skirt as I kept my gaze down for a while. I took a deep breath. I got too drunk, threw up and passed out. That must have been embarrassing. It was. Did she steal your panties as revenge for ruining the night? I don't know, maybe. Are you okay? I think I'm fine. It was just really embarrassing. Was she pretty? Extremely. Are you gonna retrieve your panties? I don't know, maybe. I should just forget about her entirely. She was a bit weird. You're weird too. In a different way. She just started making out with me out of nowhere. A promiscuous girl. Too promiscuous. Then we were left in silence. Chandra took the opportunity to sit down my bed, and with a bit delay, I did the same. I wasn't quite sure what to say next. Was that it? I had no need to get into the details, right? Chandra didn't need to know that I accidentally came in those panties, or that she jammed her fingers in my throat to make me throw up. The color drained off my face as I realized that later actually happened. 妹には話せないよね。This was awful. Chandra knew I wasn't the coolest person to exist, but I also didn't want her to hear of me being so pathetic. We looked up to each other in our own ways, and I didn't want that to change. Did you throw up into her mouth? No, I mean, I think I did not. I thought you might have. You'd explain why you were hesitant about seeing her again. The details do not matter. I'll consider the difference between those two things to be pretty big things to consider detail. I'm never going to forget about this. Well, did you have fun before that? Kinda, yeah. Chandra was silent after that. It was a bit hard to know what she was overthinking. She got curious about odd things at times, but other things did raise her interest on a bit. Sexual stuff in general was one of those things she generally didn't really have strong opinion about. まだ若いからね。Not that it didn't stop her from talking about the topic whenever it came up. Chandra's gaze drifted a bit. She looked like she was thinking hard on this, so I waited for her to speak up once more. Cherry got a new girlfriend too. Huh? Really? Who is it? もしかして昨日のウサギと付き合ってんじゃないの？ She said it isn't anyone we know, but she's an older woman from our city. Oh wow, I always thought she was joining about being her type. When you get a girlfriend again, I'll be the only one without a partner. Chandra. Alright. My cheeks warmed slightly, thinking about how nice it actually felt to get to be so close in such an intimate way after a long time. 恋人いるかいないかのさ、そういうなんか社会的なプレッシャーっていうのは欧米の方が大きいってよく聞くよね。パートナーいない人はなんか人間として何かおかしいんじゃないかって思われるらしいよ。でも現代はそれほどじゃないと思うけどね。昔に比べたらいろんな生き方が重要されてきたわけだし、トランスジェンダーとかもそうだけど。It's something I have been waiting for a while. I'm not really good at being single, but there just had to be anyone I'd clicked with. Being able to make out with someone whenever I wanted to sounded so nice, especially if it could be someone as pretty as Zarina. Wait, why are you saying that now? I just came back with my tail between my legs from a disaster. I'm not gonna be dating anyone anytime soon. Maybe if you hadn't been out all over the place, it could have been the different. Sometimes I feel like people treat me more like a lassie than a girl. Could it be? Chandra was finally starting to want an actual relationship? That felt unexpected. Hopefully she wasn't feeling down about it. I closed the distance and reached over to pull her into a relaxed embrace. She was as cute as a pressing and hugging. I felt even better. な 仲のいい姉妹なんだね。てか待って、男なの2人とも。それが気になるよな。Brushes get plenty of love too, sis. You should know that the best. Her cheeks warmed into a gentle brush instantly. It wasn't that hug that was making her flustered. But my comment, Chandra might not have been interested in getting a girlfriend before, but she had confessed to spending quality time with her Plushie to retrieve her sexual needs instead. Plushie って何？調べちゃいけない単語のような気がするな。I already miss my precious Cupid dog. どういうこと？ Why didn't you bring her with you? I don't think it's ethical to pack loved ones into suitcase. プラッシーってさ、なんかプラスティックの恋人ってこと？ But I didn't dare to carry her around.I doubt anyone will be surprised to see you wandering around with a Plushie. Plushie? プラスティックドールってこと？ It's still embarrassing. I gave her a good squeeze and kissed her arm. That's okay. You can get hugs from your friends while we are traveling. Cherry squeezed me all night.Looks like you are the Plushie now. H. When she first told me of it a couple years ago, curiosity got the best of me and I tried it as well with my Plushie. It was not a bad experience by any means, but first times are always awkward, be it with a person or a toy.So pondering about how my sister related in the middle of masturbation was exactly an efficient approach for my arousal. やっぱそうだよ。なんかあれ、プラスチック人形のことでしょ。プラスチックってなんか性処理するための、性欲処理をするための、そういうラブドールみたいなこと言ってる？あれ衛生管理が大変そうだよね。ちゃんと洗わないといけないだろうし、使った後場所も結構取るだろうしね。そうメンテナンスが大変だよな。もう自分の好きなそういう風にカスタマイズできるっていうのは一番いいのかもね。好きな人にとっては。I decided to leave the Plushie happening to professionals like her. It might have been a bit unusual, yet it was a rather endearing that fit her. Are you okay? Did you come here with something on your mind? Last night, Cherry asked me if there's anyone I like. Did you say me again? I took the question into serious consideration and said there's nobody like that. Oh, I've decided I want a girlfriend too. It was rather surprising to hear. We're childhood friends, and this was the first time Chandra had ever seemed actually interested in having a partner of her own. Ever since we started hormones together a few years back. ああ、二人とも男なんだな。女性ホルモン二人とも打ってんだね。女性ホルモンって打つとどうなるの？実際胸が大きくなったり顔つきが女の人らしくなったり、でも声は変わんないんだよな、ああいうのって確か。いや不思議だよね。女性ホルモン打ってる状態で男性器を刺激すると興奮できるものなんだね。でもあれは男性ホルモンとは関係がないのか。結局肉体的な刺激については男性ホルモンも女性ホルモン関係ないってことか。いや待って、でも結局男性器ってさ、もともと女性器にもついてるんだよな。その女性器にもお腹の中で子宮の中で最初男 男性器と女性器どっちともついてて、でなんかの拍子で男性ホルモンが多くなるとその女性器がなくなって男性器だけが残ってそれが発達するっていう話だったはずだから、つまり元は一緒なんだよね。関係ないんだ。だからホルモンに関係なく性器を刺激するとちゃんと快感が得られるんだね。思った。何を言ってるんだ。なんでこんなこと考えなきゃいけないんだ。On top of all that, due to her works, I've seen new friends and the acquaintances quickly drop her as a prospective relationship option after getting to know her. I think they are missing out on a wonderful girl. Even if I can't really speak, given that Chandra isn't my type either, I fear we would truly be stuck in an endless but they were both bottoms type of situation. Also, of course, the whole sister thing we have going on. Do you even know your own type? I wanna be edged while receiving a nursing hand job from a loving and healthy chubby milk. だいぶ性癖が絞り込まれてるね。専門化してる。Rather specific. Is this what is happening to Jerry? I was a bit jealous when she told me. I couldn't help but smile at her. Chandra's face was just too cute to say things like that out loud. It was curious to hear she was interested in these things now. I felt like if she didn't shut everyone down the moment they fluttered with her and she dared to speak up about her interests, it was just a matter of time before an eager girl would call her up. I wasn't sure how to feel about that. Chandra had always been mine, and that suddenly being up to change was something I might have to get used to. Jealousy wasn't exactly the right word, but the idea that she could end up spending more time with someone else than me would make me feel like I'm missing out. I knew I should still encourage her to find herself, but still, with a sudden vibration, both of our eyes fell down to Chandra's phone. She had apparently been holding this entire time. I got message. Where is it from? Sunako wants to see me. It's my time for hugs up. That will always be a next time. I turned to read the message as well. Kiss. Clown face emoji. Clown face emoji. Clown face emoji. Wanna hang out? Maybe they broke up already. That's a bit early, given that they haven't been starting dating yet. Chandra wrote a response, making sure to add a lot unnecessary cute emoji. Do you wanna おじさんだよね、もうそれ。絵文字つけるのおじさんだけだよ。まあ仕方ないか男だもんな、二人とも。いや、それは性差別か。Do you want to come say her as well? Did I? As much as hugging Chandra helped me feel better, I still felt rather nauseated. It wasn't like I wasn't used to being hungover, but it wasn't something that really made me want to move around much. I also remember that my plans to masturbate had been interrupted, though now that I was thinking about it, it was rather embarrassing to think that running around with no panties and somehow made me horny. やめて。ところどころでさ、異常性がにじみ出てくるの面白いね。I still feel rather sick from all that drinking. Chandra got a new message. She simultaneously started typing back as he kept on talking with me. すごい、マルチタスクできる。She's asking to come over to my room. I can ask her to come here if you want. I suppose that is fine. She tapped a new message, putting a ton of emoji on it as well. I invited her. Well, it seems like my plans to masturbate were cancelled for the time being. It can wait. She said she will be here in 10 minutes. You're my plushie until then. Yes. Before she arrives, do you want to look at the new 5-star I got last night? I huffled with a gentle smile. I suppose I do. Chandra opened her page, already starting her explanation while the game was still building up. I can't believe my luck with the latest drop I had. Kiryu. Do you know Kiryu? No. Well, hold on. The rolling will be done sooner so you can see. This new character is gonna be an absolute game changer for my squadron. She's a tanker with the most powerful shield in the entire game. That was at the last patch, which was literally yesterday. I might be one of the first people who got her, and I got her on my first roll. I must admit I was a bit skeptical about using a tanker as my main character, but since I was able to swap some gear from my old commander Kiryuji's DPS even as I'm a tanker, but certainly otaku talk だね. I don't play the kind of games she does, so most of it flies right over my head. Though at this point I've heard so much, at least I can keep up with her explanations. The headache made it a bit frustrating to hear her talk so much, but Chandra was my precious sister. As long as she was happy, I could have a smile on my face too. Maybe I was a bit possessive about Chandra now that I thought about it. 10 minutes later. ゲームが好きなんだね。何らかの DPS かなんとかやってるから、防衛ゲームかなんかなんだろうな。スマホの。And to show how much I adore her, I couldn't resist getting her brand new costume. Can you see this maid outfit? It's a bit like the one I had before. It got ruined so clearly that meant I had to go for. Chandra's in-depth explanation was interrupted by a knock on the door. I'll get it. Chandra was clearly in a good mood. Maybe I was worrying for no reason that she had been upset and feeling left out from dating. Hello. 来た、こいつら。Hi. Hello. Hey you two. Hope you don't mind me joining as well. It's fine, it's fine. I just got a bit of hangover, that's all. She barked. Sunako and Chiri both gave a concerned glance at me. That was last night. I'm fine now. It's a bit early to be partying so hard, huh? Something like that. Wait, you bought drinks with you? I heard you promised not to do that. No, I didn't bring any, but... カリンダって何？アル中だったの？もともと。It's a secret. This time, Sunako and Cherry gave Chandra a stare. Go on. スナコどっちだっけな。Nah, it's a secret. This wasn't exactly the ideal way to cover for me, but thanks, Chandra. I did not bring any drinks of my own, but yes, as Chandra says, there's a secret involved. The two girls tilted their heads, looking at Chandra, who made sure to gesture herself, rocking her mouth. Right, let's not worry about that. Instead, I want to know what happened with you, Sunako. そう、この二人もう別れたの。付き合ってるって言ってたけど、序盤で。Sunako passed her lips into the pot. It's no big deal. Kiss was just being annoying. It's a big deal. What happened? Nothing. I just wanted a change of scenery and to hang out with you all. You were a lot more upset about it when you ran to me. Well, that was like forever ago. Can we upset about things forever? 仲直りしたんだもん。Today I wanted to go on an adventure around the place, but I wanted my gang to join me. Maybe we can finally find the elusive vending machine. You're still going on about the vending machine? I swear I saw one. まだ探してたの。Why not just use the cafe? We are going there anyway for breakfast. Cute. But I bet vending machine drinks taste better. I do not really follow your logic, sis. It's the same way tap soda tastes like water. What will you do if you buy a drink and you're wrong? I'll have an iced tea to drink regardless. It will count as a win. Sunako and Chili started that puzzle for a bit before busting into a little Sonica もね。だからもう味とかは関係ないんだろうね。飲み物を自分でそれを自販機で買って飲むっていうそういう過程が大事なんであって、その飲み物が美味しいかどうかは問題じゃないんだろうね、彼女の中で。自販機を探し出したいっていう目的がもうそれがゴールになっちゃってんだね。いいんじゃないでしょうか。自販機高いでしょっていうか、水道水でよくない？水道水じゃダメ？ See, this is fun already. We should go and find it. Maybe because I was no longer holding Chandler and enjoying her passive healing effect, it was easier to feel sick again. The idea of walking around the moving train didn't feel appealing at all. If you find the Holy Grail, bring me some water from it. I need to nurse my headache. You won't join us? Sorry, I need to rest for a bit. I had a weird night. Secret. Yes, it was a secret. Cherry and Sunako found Chandler's interjections amusing, but in the end, they didn't press for details. I wanna see what they have for breakfast. Did you not read the menu on the brochures we got? I left it as a surprise intentionally. They have different foods that change every day. 日替わり定食が出るんだ。食堂では。もうだったらさ、バイキング形式にした方がいいと思うけどね。No spoilers. I'm just writing your excitement. Well, it's working too well. I'm hungry as heck. Let's go then. You guys have fun. We're gonna bring something for you too. I smiled at everyone as they started to get ready to leave. Everyone was a bit too lively for me, so getting to rest was what I needed. Maybe I could catch up to everyone later when I feel better. Bye for now, Lin Lin. Lin Lin. Baba. Sayonara. Sayonara. With everyone having left the room, my ears felt tired from having to listen to everything. I really loved every single one of those girls, but I needed the alone time. この人マスターベートする気だ。I still felt sweaty after the insanity of the night before. After having slept in my clothes, the best I could do was to start undressing to make it more comfortable for myself. I took off my blouse and skirt. Even my accessories had to go. すっかりくつろいでんの。I relaxed my body and fell backwards right into the bed with a deep sigh. Maybe I should have pushed myself and went with them after all. パンツ普通のパンティーだったね。トランクスじゃなかった。そうか。まあでもタンクトップ着てる人はみんなこういうパンツ履いてんだろうな。偏見だけど。I was used to the after effects of alcohol, just that the rocking of the train was making this worse. Or so I was telling myself. Perhaps it wasn't even the hangover that was affecting me, but the utter humiliation of what had happened. As much as I fucked everything up last night, I had never done something so bold and impulsive before. Even now, an odd sense of freedom lingered from how I had exercised my right to do whatever the fuck I wanted. I couldn't believe that rude girl really stole my cum-soaked underwear. What would she even do with them? Other than 考えたくないな。Masturbating with them. Yeah, of course that was actually really fucking weird and really fucking hard to think about. There was no way this moment wasn't going to end up without me blowing my load. I slid my panties down as my cheeks warmed up. I already felt the soft throbbing on my girl dick, and the blood rushed there with every beat of my heart. なるほどね。始まってしまったか、ついに。As I started stroking, my breathing got heavy, and I squeezed my lips and raised my skirt out of the way before I became too carried away to remember. My hand felt so nice and familiar on my cock. It felt like I hadn't been this hard in ages, and with each sway of my hips, I realized just how the ruined orgasm from last night had left me acting for relief. I licked my lips as I recalled the way she had kissed me with such intensity with her soft lips, and the way she shared her drink with me in such an overly confident and attractive way. She was such a diminutive girl. She must have stolen my panties just to make me feel embarrassed about it, right? Wanting to tease me when she wasn't even here. As my hand moved to careless pleasure on my dick, I was focused on the sensation I had felt when she was rocking her hips against my crotch. In the moment, if it had just been a couple layers less of clothing, the kissing would have just turned into sex. I vividly remembered how hot her crotch was as it pressed against my dick. Zarina had been so into it. She must have been so wet. I would have sunk into her without even trying. That girl was a damn pervert. Not only didn't she even skip a beat when she ran, I got hard. She just went straight into grinding against me. There was no way she wasn't stuffing her face into my wet panties and fingering herself to the naughty taste and smell right this moment. ああ、それを想像してやってるこの人もどうかと思うけどね。I want her to steal me again. I want her to do more things to me. I don't care if she's a bit mean, if she makes me feel that good again. As the pleasure was rapidly building up, my knees squirmed against each other as my orgasm was getting closer and closer. I didn't even want to hold back. I just kept on stroking faster and faster as I felt my climax approach. Thinking about Zarina's perfectly pretty face blushing as she pressed her nose into my wet panties was too much for me to last. Little strings of a translucent cum squirted all over myself. I was... これちょっとさ、なんかコップに入れるとかさ、できなかったの？自分にかかってるよ。コップに入れるとかさ、なんか紙で包むとかさ、しとかないとこれ大変でしょ、後片付けが。まあ洗濯機があるんならいいけど、結構匂いもするしね。ビニール袋に入れてカバンに入れて列車降りるまで洗えないわけでしょ。いや、トイレとかで洗えばいいのか。いや、そうでもちゃんと匂い取りきれないしな。そう考えると後々のこと考えないから。Instead of just drizzling down my fingers like normal, my cum splashed up to my chest and left my mind spinning from the dizzyingly powerful orgasm and panting to catch my breath. Once reason started returning to my brain and I saw the cum dripping down on my shirts, I realized I truly should have just taken my top off in the first place. それね。This wasn't ideal since I couldn't wash my clothes. そうだよ。電車の中じゃ洗えないでしょ。But at least I had packed a ton of extra. I also felt my cheeks burn up from shame from my fantasies as I felt like I had done something wrong when thinking about Zarina doing something so perverted. Zarina wasn't like that. Probably a girl that pretty wouldn't stuff their nose into someone's stinky gross cum panties. I I felt so embarrassed getting so carried away with fantasies that the pathetic display I had showed to her. Will at least come with less clothes than bath to clean up. まあね。いや、どっちもどっちだと思うけどね。I felt like I had squeezed the last of my energy out with my orgasm. Just a little nap wouldn't hurt. オナニーして、寝てか。ただれてるな。シーナップ。ここで一回終わりにしよう。これ一旦セーブしよう。ちょっと疲れた。これ、結構。